Shalom and welcome to this week's edition of the Rabbi's Ramblings. Hope you've had a wonderful week. In this week's Parsha of Devarim, the first of the fifth Chumash, we see that it talks about how Moshe Rabbeinu translated the entire Torah into 70 languages of the world. There was another time later on in history where Talmai the king requested of the sages that they do the same. But over there we see that it says that the day that this was done was as tragic as the day of the making of the golden calf. The question is, why when Moshe did it was it okay? But when the sages did it at the behest of Talmai the king, it was a tragic day like the golden calf. To understand this, let's take a detour and understand a little more about the golden calf. What was it that we were seeking from this golden calf? We just experienced the giving of the Torah and Hashem's presence in all its glory on the Mount Sinai 39 days earlier. I don't think we truly believed that this piece of gold was what created us or what sustains us. So what were we looking for? So in fact, if you look at the verse, it doesn't talk about them looking to the calf as a replacement for Hashem, God forbid. Instead, what they are talking about is that we don't know what happened to Moshe. We don't know what happened to our leader. For us to have a relationship with Hashem is very difficult, if not impossible, on our own. Hashem is obviously infinite, spiritual in nature, and abstract. We needed an intermediate, something that we can see, something that we can experience with our five senses, which what we had through Moshe. He was the conduit through which we were able to connect to Hashem. But once we thought Moshe was gone, we're like, we need something else. We need something that's down here on earth that we can see, that we can perceive, that will help us connect to Hashem. That at least was the idea in the beginning. Eventually it did lead to idol worship itself, but that's the concept. But this begs the question, why was it okay for us to have the Kruvim, the cherubs, in the Holy of Holies? If building a golden-shaped object in order to act as a conduit to serve Hashem is a bad idea, why, when it came to the Holy of Holies in the temple, was it something that not only was okay, but it is through there that Hashem spoke to Moshe and by extension to us? What's the difference? So the answer is that when it comes to the cherubs, it's Hashem who told us to build them. So it's not the object, what it looks like, what it's made of. It's why we are doing it. When it comes to the golden calf, there's one reason that we're making it, and that is because we are seeking a connection and we want to make it on our own terms, and that can lead to idol worship. But when you take the same material gold and you make it into a shape of cherubs, or whatever shape it may be, but we're doing it at the behest of Hashem, this is entirely different. Now, not only will this not potentially lead to idol worship, but it is a bond and connection to Hashem through which we can hear what He wants from us. So at the end of the day, it's not what we're doing, how we're doing it, or what we're using to do it. It's the why. Is it because Hashem asked us to do it or not? And that is why when Moshe translated the Torah, it was at the behest of Hashem. So it was a good and noble cause. But when it came at the request of a king of flesh and blood, that was not a good thing. Because then that can lead to misinterpretations and misunderstandings, as is the case when you translate anything from one language to another. So when we're doing a mitzvah, it isn't about the specifics of the mitzvah per se. It's about the fact that Hashem wants us to do this thing. And that is what we should focus on. And through this we can build a great and conscious, intimate connection with Hashem. Remember, you matter, and the world is waiting for you to make a difference. Shabbat Shalom.